The hip-hop streets are burning, and it's not from beats, it's from straight disrespect that just hit rock bottom. T.I.'s son, King Harris, dropped a savage diss track called Say Less, rocking a t-shirt with 50 Cent's late mother Sabrina Jackson plastered across the front. In the lyrics, he straight up told 50 to dig her up from the grave if he wants to talk about mamas. Fans are exploding, half calling it ruthless genius, the other half screaming it's the most disgusting low blow in rap history. Then Charleston White stormed in like a hurricane. On a live that blew up to millions of views in hours, he unloaded on King with zero filter. Sit your young ass down, boy. You think you're hard because T.I. is your daddy? Real respect ain't passed down in blood, it's earned. And dragging a dead woman into your beef? That's not gangsta. That's weak. That's clout chasing dressed up as courage. The internet detonated. King fired back on IG stories. I don't play about mine. 50 wanna go there? We can go there. Charleston doubled down harder. 50 lost his mama in the worst way, turned that pain into an empire. You're just a spoiled kid biting the hand that could buy your whole future. That's not beef, that's betrayal. T.I.'s camp is dead quiet for now, but word is Tiny's devastated, furious this blew up so ugly. Fans are split down the middle. Team King says he's defending family. Team 50 says he crossed into unforgivable. Charleston White? Suddenly he's the loudest voice of reason in the chaos, delivering the reality check King never saw coming. Is 50 about to clap back with his legendary savage memes? Will T.I. finally step in? Or is King prepping round 2? The powder keg is lit, and this drama is nowhere near over. Stick around, the next twist could break everything. The hip-hop beef just escalated into full-blown family warfare, and Charleston White is the one holding the mirror up to King Harris' face. After that explosive diss track dropped, fans couldn't believe their eyes. King Harris strutting in a shirt with 50 Cent's late mother on it, spitting bars that went straight for the jugular, telling 50 to dig her up if he wants to keep talking about mamas. The clip spread like wildfire across every platform: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, even Facebook. Groups for old-school rap heads were buzzing with outrage and disbelief. Some younger fans hyped it up, saying King was finally standing up to the constant trolling 50 had been doing to T.I. and Tiny for years. Others called it straight sacrilege. You don't touch a man's deceased mother, no matter how heated the beef gets. Charleston White, who's built his whole brand on saying the quiet part loud, didn't waste a single second. He went live from his car parked outside what looked like a gas station in Atlanta, phone propped up, dashboard lights glowing on his face, and he let it rip. Listen here, Lil King, you think you popping off because your pops is tip and you got that rubber band money in your veins? Nah fam, that don't make you untouchable. You just disrespected a legend who came from Queens, got shot 9 times, lost his mama in the most tragic way possible, turned all that pain into power, built a media empire, ghostwriter, movies, vitamin water deals, and you out here clowning his dead mother for likes? That's not gangsta, that's garbage. Charleston's voice cracked with real anger, not the fake outrage he usually sells. This time it felt personal, like he was defending the code he grew up by. King didn't back down though. Within minutes he was on his Instagram story, going live from what looked like his bedroom, gold chain swinging, camera shaking from the energy. Y'all acting like 50 ain't been coming for my mama for years, talking about Tiny like she ain't worth nothing, dragging her name through the mud every chance he get. I said what I said. If you wanna play about mamas, we can play about mamas, period. He even reposted Charleston's clip with laughing emojis and wrote old man yelling at cloud energy LMAO, sit this one out UNC. The comments section turned into a warzone. Team King versus Team 50, splitting right down the middle. Blood relatives, cousins, aunties, random fans from different coasts, all typing in caps lock, arguing like it was their own family reunion gone wrong. Back at the Harris household, things were reportedly tense. Tiny was said to be in tears, not just from the backlash but from the guilt that her own situation with 50 somehow pulled her son into this dark place. Sources close to the family whispered that T.I. was pacing the living room, phone in hand, debating whether to jump in publicly or let King learn the hard way. He's always preached about protecting family, but this time protecting family meant checking his own blood, and that's a razor's edge most fathers never want to walk. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stayed eerily quiet on his main page. No memes, no cryptic posts, just radio silence, which for 50 is louder than any gunshot. Insiders say he was letting the outrage build, letting Charleston do the heavy lifting, because when 50 finally speaks it's usually surgical. Charleston wasn't done though. He dropped a follow-up video, this one edited slick with old clips of 50 talking about his mother's murder interspersed with King's diss lines and Charleston's narration cutting like a blade. Look at this boy right here, 20-something years old, still wet behind the ears, thinking he can rewrite history. 50 didn't ask to lose his mama, he didn't choose that pain, but he turned it into motivation, something you clearly don't understand because all you know is entitlement. You got handed a platform, you got handed connections, you got handed protection, and instead of gratitude you spit on the blueprint. Real street niggas know better, real men know better, hell, real children know better. Charleston paused, stared dead into the camera. You owe that man an apology, not for clout, but because it's right, and if you don't give it, the street's gone. Remember this moment as the day King Harris showed everybody he's still a kid playing dress up in grown man business. The reaction online was nuclear. Black Twitter broke down every angle. Psychologists chimed in about generational trauma. Rap historians pulled up receipts showing how 50s beefs usually end with the other side humbled or erased. Even some neutral celebs started weighing in. Meek Mill posted a simple praying hands emoji under Charleston's clip, which got people speculating he was siding against King. Young Thug's old verse about respect got remixed into memes targeting King, while 50's die-hard G-Unit fans flooded King's page with old Get Rich or Die Tryin' album covers caption Know Your Place. But King's loyalists fought back hard, posting side by sides of 50 clowning Tiny over the years, saying what goes around comes around, and if 50 can talk crazy about a living mother, King can talk back about a dead one. The logic was twisted, but in the heat of the moment it spread fast. As the night war on Charleston went live again, this time from inside his house, pacing back and forth in a black hoodie, eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep but voice still booming. I ain't doing this for views, I ain't doing this for 50, I'm doing this because somebody gotta tell this young brother he wrong before the streets do it for him. You think this beef cute until real consequences hit. You think I gonna always be there to shield you. Nah, life don't work like that. 50 built his legacy on surviving worse than this. You poking a lion that already been shot 9 times. What you think gon' happen when he finally roar? Charleston leaned closer to the camera, lowering his voice to a gravelly whisper. King Harris, you got one chance to fix this. Apologize man to man, not boy to man. Apologize, because if you don't, the next person checking you might not be me, it might be karma, and karma don't do live streams. The clip ended with Charleston shaking his head, walking off camera, leaving millions hanging on what would happen next. King's next move. Silence. 50's eventual response, the whole industry watching like it was pay-per-view, and nobody knew who was going to blink first. But one thing was crystal clear: Charleston White had just turned himself into the unexpected moral compass of a beef that started over memes and was now threatening legacies, reputations, and family bonds that might never fully heal. The drama was only getting started, and the next 24 hours promised to deliver fireworks nobody saw coming. Fans refreshed feeds obsessively, waiting for the shoe to drop, while Charleston's phone blew up with DMs from industry vets quietly thanking him for saying what needed to be said, even if it cost him allies on both sides. This wasn't just rap beef anymore, this was a public reckoning, and King Harris was standing right in the crosshairs whether he liked it or not. The fallout hit like a tidal wave, crashing over the entire Harris family, and Charleston White became the unofficial referee nobody asked for but everybody needed. By morning, the clip of Charleston's second rant had crossed 10 million views and counting. People were screenshotting his words, turning them into reaction memes, captioning them with things like "finally someone with sense" or "Charleston White just ended King Harris' career in one breath." King stayed defiant, though he posted a carousel of old photos him and T.I. on red carpets, him hugging Tiny at award shows, captioning it "family over everything, y'all mad because I protected mine. 50 been dragging my mama for clout, now y'all crying when I clap back, make it make sense." The post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes in minutes, but the comment section was a bloodbath, 50 fans flooding in with skull emojis and "Get Rich or Die Tryin' lyrics, while King's supporters fired back with receipts of 50's old tweets about Tiny calling her everything but a child of God. Inside the Harris circle, tensions boiled over. Tiny reportedly confronted King in the kitchen, tears streaming, asking him why he had to go that far, why he couldn't just ignore 50 like she'd been trying to do for years. King hugged her tight but didn't back down. "Mama, I love you more than anything," he said, "but I can't let him keep disrespecting you like you ain't somebody's queen, somebody's mother, somebody who raised me right." Tiny shook her head, whispering, "Baby, sometimes the best response is no response, sometimes you let God handle the petty." But King's pride was too bruised, his ego too fresh. He kissed her forehead and walked out saying, "I got this, ma, trust me." Word leaked that T.I. finally broke his silence, not on social media but in a closed-door family meeting. He told King straight up, "Son, you my blood, I ride for you till the wheels fall off, but you opened a door that don't close easy. 50 ain't the type to let this slide quiet, and Charleston ain't wrong, you crossed a line real men don't touch." King listened head down, but when T.I. asked if he was ready to apologize, King looked up, eyes hard. "No pops, not yet, not until 50 says sorry first." Meanwhile, Charleston kept the pressure on. He hopped on another live, this time with a special guest, none other than an old friend from the streets who claimed he knew 50 back in the Jamaica Queens days before the fame, before the shots. The guest, a low-key figure with a raspy voice, stayed off camera, but his words hit heavy. "I was there when 50 lost his mama," he said, voice cracking a little. "She was a good woman, didn't deserve what happened, and 50 carried that grief like a backpack full of bricks, turned it into fuel. This young cat king, he don't know pain like that. He think beef is Twitter fingers and IG lives, but real pain changes you, it makes you dangerous in a different way." Charleston nodded solemnly. "That's exactly why I'm speaking up. If King keep pushing this narrative, he gon' force 50's hand, and when that hand move, ain't nobody laughing." The live ended with Charleston making a direct plea. "King, if you watching this right now, swallow that pride, pick up the phone, call 50 man to man, say my bad, I was out of line, I was emotional, but I respect what you built and what you went through. Do it for your mama, do it for your legacy, do it before this turns into something none of us can walk back from." The plea seemed to land somewhere, because for the first time King went quiet. No new stories, no new posts, just radio silence that felt heavier than his usual bravado. Fans noticed immediately, Twitter timelines filled with "Is King finally listening, or is he plotting the next diss?" The speculation ran wild, some saying he was scared, others saying he was consulting lawyers because 50's team had allegedly started sending cease and desists over the use of Sabrina's image without permission. Rumors swirled that 50 was in the studio cooking up something vicious, not a full track but maybe a short video response, the kind where he sits in a Lambo smirking, dropping one-liners that cut deeper than any bar. G-Unit soldiers old and new started posting cryptic stories, black screens with white text saying "Respect is earned, not demanded," or "Some roses wilt, but legends don't." Charleston, sensing the shift, doubled down with a written post on his page, a rare long-form caption that read like a sermon. "To King Harris, I said what I said because I see too many young kings fall thinking clout is currency. You got the world watching, learn from this moment, don't let ego write checks your character can't cash. To 50, keep being the example, show these kids what rising above looks like. To the fans, stop picking teams, start picking morals, because at the end of the day we all lose when disrespect becomes the norm." The post got reposted by everyone from Breakfast Club hosts to random barbershop pages, turning Charleston from controversial loudmouth into accidental voice of reason. Even some in T.I.'s circle quietly DM'd him saying thank you for checking the temperature before the whole house burned down. But just when it seemed like cooler heads might prevail, King broke his silence with a single Instagram story, a black background, white text reading "Apologies only come when respect is mutual. 50 know where to find me if he ready to talk like men. No emojis, no caps, just calm, cold, deliberate." The internet lost it again, trending hashtags like #King v Shuck, #Charleston check, #50 response exploding within minutes. Tiny was spotted leaving a nail salon looking stressed, sunglasses on, even though it was overcast, paparazzi catching her wiping her eyes as she ducked into an SUV. T.I. posted a cryptic lyric from one of his old songs about family loyalty and street consequences, fans dissecting every word like it was scripture. 50 still hadn't said a peep, but his verified account liked a fan page post that read "Sometimes silence is the loudest clapback," which sent shockwaves because 50 liking anything was basically an official statement these days. Charleston responded to King's story in real time, going live from a barber chair mid-fade, looking straight into the camera. "Mutual respect, my ass boy, you started this by putting a dead woman's face on a diss shirt. You don't get to dictate terms now. You want respect, earn it by showing it first. 50 been in this game longer than you been alive. He don't need to chase a response, he can wait you out till you fold or till you grow up, either way he wins. King, if you really about that life, prove it. Apologize, not because you scared but because you man enough to admit when you foul." The barber in the background nodded solemnly. Razor paused mid-stroke while viewers flooded the chat with fire emojis, praying hands, and straight facts. Charleston ended the live by saying this ain't over till it's right, and right now ain't right at all. The screen went black but the tension stayed electric, everyone knowing the next move, whoever made it, would either douse the flames or pour gasoline on an already raging inferno. The whole saga had morphed from petty rap beef into a masterclass on pride, pain, legacy, and what happens when a new generation forgets the old rules and the old guard refuses to let them slide. Fans stayed glued, phones in hand, hearts racing, waiting for the powder keg to finally blow. King's Instagram story hung in the air like smoke after a gunshot. No one knew if it was a bluff or the start of round 3, but the damage was already spreading wider than anyone expected. Radio stations across Atlanta, New York, and La picked up the saga, hosts dissecting every angle, morning shows turning Charleston's rants into sound bites, callers flooding lines, some defending King's right to clap back, others saying Charleston was the only one keeping it 100. One popular DJ even played a mashup of King's diss lines over 50's classic in Da Club beat fading in Charleston, yelling "sit your young ass down" at the drop. People laughed at first, then got quiet, realizing how dark the whole thing had turned. 50 Cent finally stirred the pot, not with words but with action. He posted a single photo to his story, no caption, just him in a black hoodie sitting courtside at a Knicks game, looking unbothered, phone in hand, screen glowing with what looked like Charleston's live replay. The image alone sent fans into a frenzy because 50 never does subtle when he's mad. This was calculated, ice-cold patience, the kind that makes enemies sweat. Within minutes, reaction pages exploded, captioning it "the calm before the storm" or "when the boss lets the soldiers talk first." G-Unit diehards took it as gospel. 50 was letting Charleston cook because he didn't need to defend himself. A legend's legacy speaks louder than any diss track. Back in the Harris camp, Tiny couldn't take the heat anymore. She went live for the first time in months, sitting in what looked like her bedroom, soft lighting, makeup flawless, but eyes red from crying. "Y'all, I'm a mama first," she started, voice trembling. "I love my son more than life itself, but this pain, this division, it's tearing me up inside. King was protecting me, I know that in my heart, but sometimes protection looks like war, and war don't leave nobody standing clean." She paused, wiped a tear. 50, "And I got history, we beef, we talk crazy, but dragging his mama into it, that hurt me too, because I know what it's like to lose somebody you love. I'm asking everybody to pray for my family, pray for healing, because this ain't just rap, this is real life, real hearts, real scars." The live ended abruptly, no goodbyes, just the screen going dark, but the clip looped endlessly, fans praising Tiny for her grace while others accused her of playing both sides. Charleston caught wind of Tiny's live and responded immediately, not with anger but with rare softness. He posted a video sitting on his couch, hoodie up, looking tired but sincere. "Mrs. Tiny, I see you, queen, I hear you, and I respect you coming out like that, raw and real. You didn't ask for this mess, but you handling it with class, something a lot of these kids need to learn. To King, your mama just showed you what strength looks like. She hurting for you, hurting for the family, hurting for the example you setting. Don't let pride rob you of the chance to make this right. Apologize, not because you weak but because you strong enough to fix what you broke." Charleston's tone shifted back to firm. "You still got time, lil homie, but time running out fast. Streets don't forget, and fans don't forget either. Do the right thing before the wrong thing becomes your whole story." King watched his mother's live in real time, reportedly from another room, phone clutched tight, tears in his own eyes for the first time since the beef popped off. Sources say he called T.I. right after, voice low, "Pops, I think I messed up bad. T.I. didn't sugarcoat it. Yeah, you did, son, but messing up ain't the end. Owning it is where the real growth happens." They talked for over an hour, T.I. reminding King of stories from his own come up, how pride almost cost him everything more than once, how apologies, when they're genuine, can turn enemies into uneasy respect. King listened, mostly silent, but when the call ended he didn't post anything flashy, no stories, no subs, just a simple text post to his close friends list that read, "Thinking heavy right now, appreciate the love and the smoke, appreciate my mama most." The shift was subtle but seismic. Fans who'd been ride or die for King started questioning their stance, posting things like, "Maybe Charleston had a point," or "Damn, Tiny's live got me emotional." Even some of 50's biggest haters admitted the diss went too far, crossing from rap beef into personal tragedy territory. Charleston kept the momentum going, dropping short clips breaking down respect in the culture, using old footage of Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, 50 himself, showing how real OGs handled losses and still rose above. One clip ended with him saying, "This generation got the platforms but forgot the principles. Beef is cool until it costs you your soul. King, you still got a soul, use it." 50 broke his silence at last, not with fire but with a masterclass in power. He posted a video to his main feed, 30 seconds long, him walking through a massive warehouse stacked with cases of Street King energy drink, his new brand empire expanding as always. Camera followed him past forklifts, employees nodding respect. He stopped at a wall of framed photos, old ones from Queens, new ones from red carpets, then one black and white shot of his mother Sabrina smiling, young and alive. No words, just the image lingered for 10 full seconds before cutting to 50 looking straight at camera, smirking once, then walking off. The caption simple: "Respect the blueprint." No direct mention of King, no shots fired, but the message landed like a bomb. Fans flooded the comments with goat emojis, hearts, praying hands. Even King's supporters stayed quiet for once because that photo said everything. 50 had survived worse than words. He didn't need to yell to win. Charleston reposted 50's video, adding his own caption, "This right here is how legends move. No barking, just building, no drama, just dominance. King, take notes. This could have been your blueprint instead of your cautionary tale." The post got millions of interactions, turning Charleston into the bridge nobody expected, the one man both sides somewhat respected in the chaos. Tiny liked the repost from her private account, a small gesture but huge in the context. Fans screenshotted it trending #TinyApproves #CharlestonBridge. King finally cracked, not publicly at first, but word spread fast. He reached out through a mutual connect asking for 50's number, not to beef but to talk. Whether the call happened or not nobody knows yet, but the rumor alone cooled the temperature. Online beef pages slowed down posting wild theories, giving way to more reflective takes about mental health, generational gaps, and the cost of clout in 2025. Charleston went live one last time for the night, sitting outside under streetlights, voice softer than usual. If King makes that call, if he owns it, if 50 hears him out, we all win, because growth looks better than grudges any day. But if he don't, if pride wins again, then remember this moment, the day a young King could have leveled up but chose to stay small. Either way, the game keeps moving, lessons keep coming, pain keeps teaching. Y'all stay prayed up, stay respectful, stay human. The saga paused there, hanging on a thread of possibility, nobody sure if reconciliation was coming or if the wound would scar over and reopen later. But for the first time in days, the energy shifted from destruction to reflection, fans debating not who was right or wrong, but what respect really means in a world where every word can go viral and every mistake can haunt you forever. T.I. posted a single rose emoji on his story, no explanation needed. Tiny shared a family photo from years ago, caption "Love conquers all." 50 kept building quietly, Charleston kept talking truth, and King somewhere in the quiet was left to decide if he wanted to be remembered as the kid who swung too hard or the man who learned to stand taller. The next chapter waited on his choice, and the whole culture held its breath. The quiet after 50's photo post felt like the eye of a hurricane, everyone holding their breath, waiting for the wind to kick back up. King's close friends text about thinking heavy had people speculating he was on the verge of folding, but pride is a stubborn beast, especially when you're young, rich, and used to getting the last word. Hours ticked by, no new posts from King, no cryptic emojis, no nothing, just the slow drip of fan theories filling the void, some saying he was scared of 50's power, others swearing he was plotting the ultimate apology track, something poetic that would flip the narrative and make him look mature instead of weak. Charleston White refused to let the momentum die. He knew silence can be weaponized by both sides, so he dropped a short clip walking through an airport terminal, mask up, cap low but voice unmistakable. "Look, I ain't here to drag nobody forever, but let's keep it real. King, you posted that mutual respect line, like you the one holding the cards, nah fam, you the one who dealt from the bottom of the deck first." 50 showed his mama's picture, no words needed, that was power, that was pain turned into purpose. You wanna talk mutual, then start by giving what you took away, respect for a woman who ain't here to defend herself. Call him, text him, send a DM, whatever, but do it before the streets decide your apology ain't worth hearing anymore. He ended the clip with a pointed finger at the camera. You still got a window, lil brother, don't let it close on your dumb shit. The clip reignited the discourse, but this time the tone had shifted noticeably, more fans leaning toward Charleston's side. Even some who'd been Team King from jump started commenting things like "he gotta fix this" or "Charleston spitting facts, no cap." T.I.'s inner circle reportedly urged King to move quick, one source close to the family saying Tip pulled him aside again. "Son, this ain't about winning, it's about not losing everything you built off my name." King nodded but still hesitated, the apology stuck in his throat like a bad pill. He knew it was necessary, but swallowing it felt like admitting he was small in a game where he wanted to feel giant. Then the twist nobody saw coming dropped like a bomb at 3 a.m. East Coast time. King went live not from his bedroom but from what looked like a dimly lit studio, headphones around his neck, beat paused on the screen behind him. He sat there for a solid 10 seconds just staring at the camera, eyes glassy, no chain, no flashy lights, just a plain black tee, looking younger than his years. "Yo," he started, voice low, rough from lack of sleep or emotion, maybe both. "First off, I want to say this to my mama, Tiny, I'm sorry for putting you through this storm, I know you hurting and that's on me. To my pops, thank you for the talks, the real ones, I heard you." Then he paused, rubbed his face, took a deep breath. To 50 Cent, "Man, I went too far. Putting your mama in that diss, dragging her name into my anger, that wasn't right, that wasn't necessary. I was mad about the comments about my family, but I let it turn me into something I ain't proud of. I apologize sincerely, no subs, no excuses, I was wrong and I own that. Respect to what you built, respect to your story, respect to your mother's memory. If you ever want to talk, I'm here, no beef, no games, just man to man." He stared at the camera a few more seconds, then simply said that's it and ended the live. The internet froze for a split second, then detonated in every direction. Clips of the apology circulated faster than the original diss track, trending #King apologizes, #King grew up, #Charleston was right within minutes. Fans who dragged him mercilessly now posted respect buttons and praying hands, some even admitting damn, he did the right thing, that took guts. 50's camp stayed quiet, but G-Unit pages started reposting the clip with captions like "Growth looks good on everybody" or "Sometimes the student becomes the teacher" in reverse. Charleston White caught the live in real time. He reacted instantly, going live from his bed, lamp on face lit up with something close to pride. "I just watched King Harris do what a lot of grown men never do. He owned his shit publicly, no loopholes, no blame shifting, straight apology, straight respect. Lil homie, I'm proud of you. That's how you level up, that's how you turn a L into a lesson." To the fans who rode with him even when he was wrong, now ride with him while he right, because real recognize real. To 50, if you accept this, know the culture watching and we all rooting for peace over pettiness. Charleston smiled, rare, genuine, not his usual smirk. "This right here why I speak up. Sometimes the check ain't to destroy, it's to rebuild." 50 waited a full day, the longest 24 hours in recent rap memory, then posted his response. Not a video, not a rant, just a simple Instagram story. Black background, white text reading, "Apology accepted. Keep building, young king." No shade, no extra, no memes, just 4 words and a period that carried the weight of forgiveness without fanfare. Fans lost their minds, screenshooting it, captioning it, "Class act" or "50 stays winning even in silence." Tiny reposted it from her page with a heart emoji and the words "thank you," adding a family prayer hands photo that melted even the hardest commenters. T.I. dropped a subtle IG post, a throwback pic of him and King when King was little, captioning it, "Proud of the man you becoming, love always." Charleston wrapped his involvement with one final long post, a wall of text that read like closure. "This beef started ugly but ended cleaner than most. King showed heart, 50 showed grace, Tiny showed love, T.I. showed wisdom." The culture needed this reminder. Disrespect got limits, pain ain't content, and apologies ain't weakness, they power. Shout out to everybody who kept it real in the comments, who checked their own biases, who prayed instead of piled on. We can disagree, we can beef, but we don't have to destroy. Let this be the blueprint moving forward. He signed it off with Charleston White signing out for now. Stay up, stay respectful, stay growing. The saga that had gripped hip-hop for days finally exhaled, fans shifting from war mode to reflection mode, posting threads about mental health in the spotlight, the pressure on celebrity kids, the thin line between defending family and crossing into cruelty. Podcasts dissected it, morning shows replayed the apology, live reaction videos flooded YouTube, even neutral outlets like TMZ ran segments titled "From Diss to Respect: How King Harris Turned the Tide." King himself went quiet again, no victory laps, no "I told you so's," just occasional stories of him in the studio working, posting snippets of soulful beats, no lyrics yet, but the vibe felt different, calmer, more focused. 50 went back to his empire building, posting about new ventures, charity drops, business moves. The photo of his mother stayed up on his page, a quiet, permanent reminder that some losses don't fade, they fuel. Tiny and T.I. posted more family content, vacations, dinners, laughing moments, rebuilding the image that got cracked in the crossfire. Charleston White took a brief step back from the drama, diving into other topics, but his follower count spiked higher than ever, people tuning in not just for the mess but for the truth. He'd proven he could deliver even when it hurt to hear. In the end, what started as a reckless diss over old beef turned into one of the rawest public lessons in recent memory, a reminder that in hip-hop, legacy, pain, and family aren't just bars, they're bloodlines, and when you touch them you better be ready for the mirror somebody like Charleston White will hold up. King Harris walked away bruised but taller, 50 Cent walked away untouched but respected, Charleston White walked away louder but validated, and the culture walked away a little wiser, knowing that sometimes the biggest win isn't the last word, it's the first step toward making it right. The fireworks faded, the smoke cleared, and for once in this wild game everybody got to breathe a little easier knowing growth had won this round. But in rap nothing stays quiet forever, so eyes stayed peeled, because the next chapter, whatever it is, would be written by the same players, just maybe with better pens this time. The dust settled, but the echoes kept ringing through the culture like a sample that won't fade out. King Harris' apology live became one of those moments etched into hip-hop lore, right up there with classic beef endings, but without the body count, just bruised egos and hard lessons. Reaction videos popped up everywhere, YouTubers breaking it down frame by frame, pausing on King's glassy eyes, zooming in on the moment he said, "I was wrong and I own that." Comment sections filled with grown men admitting, "Damn, that took real balls to do that on live, no script, no PR team, just raw." Even the skeptics who'd sworn King would never fold started typing "respect earned" or "growth arc loading." The hashtag King apologizes stayed trending for 48 straight hours, climbing higher than the original diss ever did, proving once again that redemption arcs pull more views than destruction ones. 50 Cent played it perfectly as always, he didn't rush to capitalize, no victory lap, no savage meme dump, just that quiet accepted post that left room for dignity on both sides. Insiders whispered he'd gotten the call from King late the night before the apology dropped. A short conversation, maybe 10 minutes tops, no yelling, no threats, just two men, one legend, one student hashing it out. 50 reportedly told him straight up, "I heard you young, appreciate you stepping up, keep your head up and stay out the way of your own blessings." King thanked him, voice steady for the first time in weeks, and that was it. No leaked audio, no screenshots, just private respect that leaked anyway, because nothing stays private in this game. 50's next post after the acceptance was business as usual, a teaser for a new Power spin-off episode, caption coming soon, stay locked in, no mention of the beef, because why revisit when you already closed the chapter. Charleston White milked the win without overdoing it. He dropped a quick thank you video from a rooftop overlooking Atlanta skyline, wind whipping his hoodie, looking like a man who just finished a heavyweight bout and walked out standing tall. To everybody who tuned in, argued, prayed, dragged or defended, thank y'all for keeping it real. King showed he got heart, 50 showed he got class, Tiny showed she got soul, and the rest of us showed we still care about what's right even when it's messy. This wasn't about me winning an argument, it was about the culture not losing its soul, one reckless diss at a time. He paused, smiled small, I'm stepping back from this one now, got other convos to have, but if y'all ever need that reality check again, you know where to find me. Stay growing, stay respectful, stay watching each other's backs. The video ended with him dapping the camera like he was saluting the whole audience, and just like that, Charleston slid out of the spotlight, leaving the stage cleaner than he found it. Tiny Harris turned the page in her own quiet way. She posted a family dinner photo, everyone around the table laughing, King in the middle looking lighter, arm around his shoulder, Tiny smiling wide, caption healing, looks like this, love looks like this, grateful for lessons and second chances. No subs, no shade, just peace that felt earned. Fans flooded it with hearts, some crying emojis, others writing things like, this is what family's supposed to do, hold each other up when the world trying to tear y'all down. I followed up with a story reposting the photo, adding a voice note, short and simple, y'all know I don't do long speeches, but proud of my seed, proud of my queen, proud of how we ride through storms. Real, recognize real. The clip got saved, reposted, stitched into motivation edits set to old soul beats, turning the Harris family from beef casualties into comeback kings and queens. The industry took notice quietly at first, then louder. Award show hosts started name-dropping the saga in monologues, not to roast but to uplift, using it as an example of how fast things can spiral and how beautiful course correction can be. Podcasts dedicated full episodes to it, unpacking generational trauma, cloud culture, the weight of famous last names. Even therapists chimed in on panels talking about how public apologies can heal private wounds when done right. King himself eased back into the spotlight slowly, no big flex posts, just studio clips, him nodding to beats, caption working on me, working on music, same difference. One snippet leaked a soulful hook about learning from mistakes, owning the pain, turning scars into stars. Fans ate it up, calling it his first real grown man record, the one born from fire, not just hype. Months later, the whole thing felt like a fever dream that changed the temperature in the room. Beefs still popped off Twitter, fingers still flew, but there was this unspoken rule now: nobody wanted to be the next one to catch a Charleston White lecture or a 50 Cent silent treatment. Younger artists started shouting out Charleston in interviews, saying UNC kept it 100, taught me to think before I post. 50 kept stacking wins, new deals, new shows, new ways to remind everybody he built the blueprint. King grew into his name, quieter, more focused, dropping a project that surprised everybody, introspective bars over moody production, no disses, just reflection. Tiny and T.I. doubled down on family content, vacations, anniversaries, little moments that screamed we survived and we stronger. Charleston White became the accidental elder statesman, not because he wanted the title but because he earned it the hard way, saying the hard things when nobody else would. His page grew but the tone shifted, less chaos, more counsel, fans sliding in DMs asking for advice on their own beefs, their own pride, their own apologies. He answered some publicly, some privately, always ending with the same line: growth over grudges every time. In the end, what started as a t-shirt, a diss track, and a dead woman's face on fabric turned into proof that hip-hop still has a conscience even when it's kicking and screaming. King Harris didn't just apologize, he evolved. 50 Cent didn't just forgive, he demonstrated power. Tiny didn't just cry, she healed. T.I. didn't just protect, he guided. And Charleston White didn't just yell, he reminded everybody that real checks come with love underneath the tough talk. The saga closed not with explosions but with quiet nods across the industry, a collective exhale, knowing the culture dodged a bullet, learned a lesson, and maybe, just maybe, came out a little wiser on the other side. Beefs will come again because that's the game, but next time somebody might pause, think about the mirror Charleston held up, and choose the path that builds instead of burns. And if they don't, well, Charleston's phone stay charged, ready to go live one more time, because some lessons only stick when they're loud, raw, and unfiltered. The months rolled on, and what started as a wildfire beef cooled into something closer to a cautionary tale passed around like folklore in the culture. King Harris didn't disappear, he leveled up quiet but steady, dropping a surprise EP titled Mirror Check, 6 tracks, no features, just him over moody production, talking about pride, mistakes, redemption, and the weight of carrying a famous last name. The lead single, Apologies in Advance, hit different. Fans dissected every bar, hearing echoes of that late night live where he owned his mess. Streams climbed fast, not because of drama but because the music felt honest, no cap, no flex, just a young man processing pain in real time. Interviews followed, careful ones where he spoke slow, no dodging questions, saying things like, I learned that respect ain't something you demand, it's something you give first, and hope comes back doubled. When asked about Charleston, he smiled small. UNC saved me from myself. He kept it 100 when nobody else would. I owe him that. Smoke turned into smoke-free wisdom. 50 Cent never addressed the EP publicly, but he did something louder. He added King's track to one of his workout playlists on Spotify, shared the link to his story with a simple fire emoji, no words needed. That small gesture sent the internet into another spiral, fans screenshotting it, captioning it full circle, or 50 giving the official cosign. G-Unit pages reposted it, old heads in the comments writing respect to both generations, bridging the gap right there. 50 kept his empire humming, new PowerBook seasons dropping, vitamin water expansions, ghostwriter deals stacking quietly, reminding everybody he didn't need to yell to stay on top. His silence after the apology had been the ultimate power move, and now his subtle nod felt like closing the book on good terms. Tiny Harris turned the experience into quiet advocacy. She started speaking at small events, women's groups, church panels, talking about the toll social media beef takes on families, especially when kids get pulled in. She kept it real, no victim card, just mama truth, saying, I prayed every night my son would choose growth over grudge, and when he did, it healed parts of me I didn't know were still broken. Her post shifted to more scripture mixed with family candids, King cooking breakfast tea. Playing old records, Tiny dancing in the kitchen, caption, joy looks like peace after the storm. Fans who'd once dragged the family now sent DM apologies, some even mailed handwritten letters saying, your strength helped me talk to my own kids different. I stayed mostly in the background, but when he spoke it carried weight. On a podcast he dropped a rare long-form take saying, look, I raised my son to stand tall, but standing tall don't mean standing wrong. He crossed a line, I told him so, Charleston told him so, the streets told him so, and thank God he listened before the lesson got permanent. Pride'll cost you more than money, it'll cost you peace, legacy, people you love. King listened, took the L, turned it into a W, that's real King shit right there. The clip went viral not for drama but for wisdom. Sounding like the elder statesman he'd earned the right to be. Charleston White didn't milk the moment forever, he moved on to other battles, calling out politicians, fake activists, industry plants, but every now and then someone would bring up the King saga in his comments and he'd reply simple, that was a good day for the culture, young brother grew up legend, stayed legendary, family healed, we all ate. His lives got deeper, less rant, more real talk, fans tuning in for the unfiltered truth, not just the mess. He even got invited to panels at HBCUs talking about digital responsibility, mental health in hip-hop, the responsibility that comes with a platform. Students asked him how he knew when to speak up. He laughed, said, when I see somebody about to ruin their own life and nobody else stepping in, I step in loud because quiet checks don't always land. A year later the whole thing resurfaced in a positive light when a major outlet did a Where Are They Now piece on rap's most viral moments of the decade. They interviewed all the players separately, King in a clean studio, 50 in his office, Tiny at home, on set, Charleston on the road. King said, looking back, I'm grateful it happened the way it did, hurt like hell but taught me more than any win ever could. 50 kept it short, young man showed character, I respect character, end of story. Tiny teared up, saying it brought us closer as a family, we talk more, we pray more, we forgive faster. I grinned proud as hell, my boy turned pain into purpose, that's the Harris way. Charleston summed it up best, we beef, we bleed, we build, we heal, that's the cycle, but the real ones break the destructive part and keep the growth part. That beef wasn't about who won, it was about who grew. The article dropped with a photo spread, King and 50 shaking hands at a charity event, neither one smiling big, just mutual respect in the grip, Tiny and I in the background looking relieved, Charleston off to the side, arms crossed, nodding like a proud coach. Fans flooded the comments with goats all around, healing era unlocked, culture won. Streams on King's EP spiked again, old disc clips got buried under highlight reels of the apology, the forgiveness, the music that came after. Beef pages that once thrived on the drama pivoted to posting positive arcs, calling it the blueprint for when things go left. In the end, Charleston White giving King Harris that reality check didn't just stop a beef, it reset the tone for a minute, reminded everybody that hip-hop's roots run deep in survival, redemption, and respect, even when it's delivered through a live rant from a gas station parking lot. King walked away with scars, but stronger music, wiser fans. 50 walked away untouchable as ever. Tiny and T.I. walked away tighter. Charleston walked away validated, the loudmouth who turned out to be the voice of reason when it mattered most. The saga faded into legend, not as a war story but as a growth story, proof that sometimes the hardest check comes from the outside and the biggest win comes from listening, folding ego, and rising different on the other side. And in a game that loves to burn bridges every now and then, one gets rebuilt stronger, leaving room for everybody to cross to the next chapter, a little less reckless, a little more real. The saga that started with a reckless t-shirt and a grave-digging bar didn't just fade, it became legend, whispered about in barbershops, dissected on podcasts, referenced in ciphers as the moment a young king almost lost it all but chose to grow instead. King Harris kept evolving, his music got sharper, his interviews got deeper, he started mentoring younger artists, pulling them aside at events, saying, "Listen, don't let ego write your story. I almost did and it almost cost me everything." Fans noticed the change too, his streams stayed consistent, not off drama but off authenticity, the kind that comes after you've stared at your own reflection and didn't like what you saw but fixed it anyway. Every now and then someone would bring up the old beef in his comments and he'd reply, "Simple lessons learned, grateful for the check, no hard feelings, just forward motion." 50 Cent never looked back, he kept stacking empires, new shows, new investments, new ways to remind the game who built the rules. His PowerBook universe expanded, his vitamin water deals printed money, his socials stayed savage when needed but never petty about the past. When asked in rare sit-downs about the King situation, he'd shrug, say, "Kid showed heart, I respect heart, that's it, close the chapter, keep building." The photo of his mother stayed pinned to his page, a quiet testament that some pain fuels forever and some apologies heal what words alone can't touch. G-Unit stayed loyal, old soldiers, new recruits, all nodding to the blueprint that survived shots, beefs, and now even generational clashes. Tiny and T.I. turned the storm into stronger roots, they posted less about the drama, more about the life after family trips, date nights, King in the studio, Tiny cooking big meals, T.I. dropping wisdom on his podcast. They became the example of what happens when love outlasts the noise, when forgiveness isn't weakness but the ultimate flex. Tiny even wrote a short caption under one family photo that went mega viral, "Storms pass, but roots grow deeper. Thank you God, thank you family, thank you lessons." Fans saved it, said it as wallpapers, quoted it in their own healing eras, turning a rap beef into universal family medicine. Charleston White emerged as the unlikely hero, the man who yelled when silence would have let destruction win. His platform grew but his message sharpened, less chaos, more clarity. Lives turned into town halls where he broke down respect, trauma, clout, mental health, the real cost of going viral for the wrong reasons. He'd laugh when people called him the culture's uncle, saying, "Nah, I'm just the dude who won't let y'all self-destruct without saying something first." Every time the King story resurfaced in year-end lists or throwback threads, he'd repost with the same line, "Growth over grudges," every damn time. He stayed consistent, the reality check King needed became the blueprint others started following before they even posted reckless subs. Years later, looking back, the whole thing felt like a pivot point in hip-hop, not the biggest beef, not the bloodiest, but maybe the most human one, where pride met pain, where ego met apology, where a commentator became a conscience and a kid became a man in front of millions. It proved the culture still had room for redemption, still had elders willing to speak up, still had young ones willing to listen, still had families strong enough to heal in public. No one walked away perfect, but everyone walked away changed. King taller, 50 untouched, Tiny softer, T.I. prouder, Charleston validated. And the fans, the real winners, got to witness not just drama but the messy, beautiful process of becoming better. So what do you think? Did Charleston White go too far with that reality check, or was he exactly what King needed right when he needed it most? Drop your take in the comments below. Team Charleston, Team King, or Team Growth? I'm reading everyone. If this roller coaster of beef, apology, and healing hit you, smash that like button, it helps the algorithm spread these real stories. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss when the next wild saga drops, because in this game there's always another chapter. Share this with your squad who love the drama but respect the lessons too, and tell me in the comments what other beef you want me to turn into one of these deep dive scripts next. We out here for the truth, the tea, and the growth. Stay locked in peace.